Good morning, and welcome to another spectacular Monday morning. I don't know how many of you were up early this morning, but the sky here in Ireland certainly was just amazing. Every colour under the sun, no filter needed. And I wonder whether that's in preparation for tonight's full moon, which is another special moon. So get your crystals out there if you're into that kind of thing, and just leave them out overnight for a quick bath. So welcome to my Monday messages. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Rebecca and I'm a holistic health coach, and I use QTT personal development methods and homeopathy and a whole load of other things besides to support busy women in being able to make and sustain healthier choices in their emotional life, their physical lives, and their spiritual lives. So my Monday messages are just really about popping in here to help set a theme or a focus or a simple practice for the week to help you to do that. Okay, so this morning I was inspired, if you like, to talk about today's theme by two very good friends of mine, both of whom are going through their own personal journeys with grief at the moment. The first friend has just suffered a big loss just very recently, and is really in the throes of that raw grief process. And she's got lots and lots of tools that she's learnt over the years. So she's kind of taken a step backwards from her life and is just honouring those feelings and going with it. And when we have a big kind of grief like that, culturally and family-wise, it's honoured by our wider society. It's expected that you will be grieving, and in fact, in some societies and even in our own recent past, as much as a year could be set aside to actually go through those emotions and through those feelings and come out the other side. And it made me think about all sorts of other emotions and why we choose to honour and allow, if you like, give ourselves permission to feel grief, and yet not lots of other emotions. And I also thought about why we actually do lots of the things that we do to make ourselves feel better. So whether that is spiritual practices, and for some of you, and certainly for me, my self-care would include things that would be termed as spiritual practices. So things like meditation, qigong, breathing exercises, all sorts of things like that. But we also use all kinds of self-care methods to regulate ourselves, to allow ourselves to feel better or to move through and process emotions and feelings. So that could be exercising, it could be painting, it could be running, it could be hoovering your house, it could be anything, basically. And all of those things, it doesn't matter what they are actually and what they mean to other people. If they help you to be able to cope and to be able to be in the world, if you like, then they are really valuable. And part of what I'm talking about today is not meant in any way to disrespect those methods. That they're fantastic, whatever they are. What I wanted to do this week was to invite you to start thinking about whether you do those kind of things, whatever they may be, in order to feel the feelings that you're feeling and process them and get through them, or whether you're using them to actually not feel. And I want to add here that there's no judgment at all. Absolutely no. Not one is not better than the other. They both have a part to play. So I'm just inviting you to just have a look at the things that you do to process emotions. Sometimes emotions that maybe other people around you and yourself might think of. Thanks very much for the thumbs up. I can't see who anyone is this morning for some reason, but you're very welcome. Thank you for watching. Maybe let me know who you are in the comments. So yes, to invite you to have a think about whether you're using these things to process and feel emotions, or whether you're using them to not feel the emotions, because there's a difference. And it may be one of the reasons why emotions might be hanging around longer than you'd like them to. So I just wanted to then tell you about my second friend, who is not experiencing a raw grief right now, but she shared with me that she found this time of year very difficult, and that she was always tipped into feelings of sadness and wanting to be quiet and insular, and remembering a number of people that she was grieving for. And they all happened around this time of year. So the season, the months, are actually a trigger for her. And she's done the most enormous amount of work on herself, lots of personal development work. She's an amazing, amazing woman. And she's just realizing that in the past, she very much used her personal development tools and her meditations and all her practices in order to not feel that grief and that sadness, to distract her from it and enable her to put a mask on, if you like, and go out into the world. But recently, she's actually changed that. And she's now using those same techniques, those same methods, to help her actually be with how she's feeling and be okay with it. And most importantly, to be able to say to her family, yeah, this is not a great time of year for me. I'm remembering the people that I loved and the people that I lost, and I'm honouring them, if you like, and I just need to be a little bit still and a little bit quiet at this time of year. It will pass, but I just need to feel it. And each time she does that, the feelings get less and less intense, and they become more about remembering and celebrating the person rather than feeling that really raw grief that obviously we all feel at some stage. So I wanted you to just this week just have a really good think about any of the practices that you may do. And it might not even be practices, as I say, it might be, every time I get really angry, I furiously clean the house. I recognise that one. I used to do that. Or I reorganise something, or I go for a very, very fast walk, or whatever it is. And just notice why you're doing it, and notice what result it has for you. And think about, well, is it resolving emotions, difficult emotions? Or is it actually what's happening is that the triggers are still there? You're able to regulate yourself at the time, but actually what happens is that you are triggered repeatedly into that state. And it may be that if that's the case, that you are using those methods to distract you, And again, no judgment, and you don't have to do anything with that information except just be conscious of it, because being conscious of why we do what we do is the start of being able to change things if we want them, if we want to. So that's my invitation this week, is to just notice why you do various self-regulation actions, and just start thinking about whether they're actually resolving emotions or whether they are avoiding emotions. For me, I think of emotions and feelings as fleeting processes that go through me, that I move through them or they move through me. They're not part of me. They are transitory states that I create, if you like, in response to outside triggers, or sometimes inside triggers, actually. And if you think about them in terms of being a clock, so each emotion, each feeling needs to complete a cycle. It needs to complete going around. And if it's too painful, if it's too messy, if it's just I can't stay with it, then the dial will stop wherever you've looked away, basically. And you may need to look away for a time. When you come back to it, or you're reminded of it by something similar, it will be still at the place where you left it. So it will then try and continue to finish that cycle. So maybe like a volume switch, if you've got something on that's really, really loud in a room, and you, in order to get away from it, you leave the room and shut the door, and you go away and you go further away, and that's great, can't hear it anymore. The volume is still turned up in that room. So in order to go and turn that volume down permanently, you have to go back into the room, basically. And then you're able to really hear that high volume, and you'll be able to reach the volume switch and turn it down. So that's in essence, I think, what we need to do with our emotions and our feelings. Sometimes just accepting that it's okay. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel grief. It's okay to miss somebody. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel anything at all, because that's what makes us human. And if we're able to sit with that, then it will complete its action and go on its way, and you won't need to keep feeling it. And I know that's a big one, and it's easier said than done. But this week, just start to think about it. That would be great. And do, as ever, do share anything that you do at the moment. Actually, I'll be really interested to see what you think you do to help regulate any uncomfortable emotions. Do you furiously clean the house, or do laundry, or do you go out for a brisk walk, or what do you think? So yeah, pop your comments in the thread below. And if you're interested in working with me further, or knowing how I work to help you to regulate your own emotions and feelings, then just click on the link that I've put with the post in that's with this video, and you can either book a consultation, or you can book a free call with me, and we can have a chat, or you can just have a look around the site, whatever takes your fancy. Okay, have a wonderful week, and thank you very much for watching, whether you're watching live or on the replay. Thank you. Take care. Bye.